The Yazidi Union of Aleppo has condemned Turkish efforts to eradicate the Yazidi minority as well as Kurdish identity and history, 4 years on from Turkey's March 2018 invasion of the Afrin region. Turkey's policies of forcible demographic change against the Yazidis and Kurds in Afrin have been described as ethnic cleansing by some observers. The Yazidi Union, which represents Yazidis displaced from Afrin as well as other residents in nearby regions of Syria, condemned the occupation and called on international actors to hold Turkey for account for its actions. Afrin set an example to the world in all areas of culture, society, economy, and self-organization, in the spirit of the brotherhood of peoples, they said. But now her trees have been burned, her graves and tombs burned to the ground, and her women and children abducted for ransom. Afrin was also home to a significant minority population of an estimated 25,000 Yazidis, virtually all of whom fled the region following Turkey's invasion occupation. The United Nations has specifically described the major violations conducted against Yazidis on the basis of their faith and ethnicity in the Turkish-occupied regions, with members of the minority faith forced to convert to Islam at gunpoint. Yazidi women have been specifically and systematically targeted with sexual and other forms of violence as part of an ongoing policy of forcible demographic change. They have been assaulted and described as infidels and pigs and detained in illegal black sites to be used as sex slaves per international reports. The Turkish state has been pursuing a policy of demographic change against the Kurdish people for a long time, the activist concluded. We call on those legal organizations which claim to protect humanity to bring these occupiers to justice before the international community. The main Newroz celebration in Germany will be held in Frankfurt on Saturday, March 19th. Zubeida Zümrüt, co-chair of CONMED and a member of the Newroz organizing committee, spoke about the Newroz celebration that will take place in Frankfurt on Saturday, March 19th. The final preparation for the Newroz celebration in Frankfurt Rebstock have been completed. Representatives of institutions from 4 parts of Kurdistan will make speeches during the event, she said. Assemblies, communes, and institutions affiliated with us all over Germany arrange buses to transport our people to Newroz celebrations. We should celebrate this year's Newroz to create an opportunity to free thousands of prisoners, including Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan. She remarked that the genocidal attacks and political genocide against the Kurds would be denounced. Representatives from the CDU, SPD, Die Linke, and numerous other parties will attend the Newroz and share their messages of solidarity. Our Newroz event will start at 10 a.m. on Saturday, March 19, 2022. Koma Bajar and artist Sheribana Kurdi, Nasser Rezazi, Hosandino, Kheje, Sherif Omari, and Koroya Denge, Mesopotamia, will appear on stage. Moreover, traditional Kurdish folk dancing will be performed during the celebrations, Zumrud added. Recent rainfall in North and East Syria has given local farmers cause for hope, but the region still faces challenges in maintaining agricultural production, an agricultural expert has said. The region has only seen 160 millimeters of rain this winter and typically needs 440 millimeters to ensure a successful harvest, but the fact rain are coming regularly is a positive sign, said Sherbaz Hawil of the Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria.
انها ام قارن بين باران اي صار كاين بولات تشكي باش هبو انه توزيعاي باش بسر مها يعني مثلا مها كي هات مها دوا هات بامكتنا اسيا دجي باران هات يعني فباران كيما لتوزيعاي سر صاري قلكي باش براستي جبروا ايرم كما سيت شيني منطقه تبي دنابني نغنمونا غير غنمجي.
Recent lack of rainfall has been compounded by both ISIS's campaign of burning wheat fields and other agricultural land across the region, and Turkey's use of water resources as a weapon of war against NES. Turkey has both seized control of the key water station at Taluk, which it uses to control and systematically sever the flow of water to hundreds of thousands of local residents and farmers, and intentionally reduce the water flow into the Euphrates River. There are concerns in the region over price increases, particularly of wheat due to the Russian role in the Syrian economy, and the fact that many Middle Eastern states, including the central Syrian government, import their grain from Ukraine and Russia. NES is expected to avoid the worst of grain shortages, as the region is rich in wheat, but faces additional challenges due to the economic embargo on the region and its lack of control over water resources.
هيك ما سينكت يا چاندريه تبادا يعني گنم به کزبرا به رش به اتشتگو عالم چندی هی که مسینه کتی اباران جوار گلی کی باش بو مروا کباش شو يعني اللي هي ام بهيفينا انه ديساجي باران وريجبر هي دم درج ما يشجن مواره يعني.
Mr. Hawil ended by calling on local farmers to reduce their reliance on pesticides and artificial products, which have a long-term harmful effect on the local ecology. Women in an Arab village of North and East Syria have taken the lead in the agricultural field, driving tractors, managing local affairs, and fulfilling roles traditionally assigned to men. The women in the village of Ain al-Jammous in rural Manbij have spoken out to describe their ability to participate in both practical and political aspects of everyday life. Farid al-Nasser has been driving a tractor for 20 years following her husband's illness. I also taught my daughters to drive a tractor and face the hardships of life, she said. The people of our village are proud of the women that can do all kinds of work. Village's women have strong personality and can keep up with men across all fields of life and work. Following the outbreak of social revolution in the region 10 years ago, the political philosophy of Abdullah Öcalan has been implemented across North and East Syria, which grew to include the Manbij region following its liberation from ISIS in 2016. Mr. Öcalan places a special focus not only on women's liberation and self-empowerment, but also in rediscovering women's long-standing role in rural, traditional, and historic society. Women across the region's society faces entrenched patriarchal discrimination, particularly affecting traditionally minded rural and Arab communities, though Kurdish and urban women also face major challenges. However, the example of Ain al-Jammous illustrates long-standing traditions of women taking a leading role in the local society, despite attempts by ISIS to eradicate women's cultural identity and value. Even though the girls of our village are students, the hand which holds a pen can also drive a tractor, said local woman Faida Muhammad Sheikh. We live the shared life as two genders, and we don't see any problem with having daughters because they're just as capable as men of running a household, working or growing crops.
Babanızı tedavi ettik biz ya. Yapmayın Allah aşkına. Hocam kalbim var gitme. Yuh nedir ya? Yuh 80 yaşında kadar yere dönmek nedir? Yuh nedir ya?
Sen beni engelleme. Böyle bir hakkın yok, böyle bir anayasa.
Abi ya abi. Abi beni götür. Vallahi götür. Ayıptır ya, ayıptır ya. Ayıptır be.
Tüm meslektaşlarımın 14 Mart Türk Bayramı kutlu olsun. Daha özgür günlerde, bu günler geçecek biliyoruz. Biz daha özgür, daha adil günlerde, daha güzel 14 Mart'larda, daha kalabalıkla, neşeyle, coşkuyla, bayram havasıyla kutlayacağımız 14 Mart'larda buluşmak üzere. Hepinize teşekkür ediyorum.
A year-long dispute between two families in the Kobane countryside has been resolved by the Reconciliation Committee of the Autonomous Administration in the Euphrates region. The dispute developed after a young man named Fawaz Juma Kacho was killed by the member of another family from the same village, sparking a dispute between the two. Blood feuds like that which developed in the Bino village in the west of North and East Syria can last for decades, resulting in long-term bad feeling and tit-for-tat violence. But the Reconciliation Committee was able to meet with members of both families and put the dispute to bed without any further bloodshed. Mahmoud Osman, a spokesperson for the Euphrates Region Religious Association, addressed the crowd. Nes's reconciliation committees were established to provide an alternative to both state-backed top-down forms of justice and to the violent blood feuds which plague tribal society in the region. The committees work with local dignitaries and political representatives to bring both families to the negotiating table and encourage them to set aside the differences in the spirit of what they refer to as the brotherhood of peoples. At the gathering, the two families came together along with local Kurdish and Arab dignitaries. Mohammed Shaheen, the co-chair of the Executive Council for Euphrates region, also addressed the crowd saying, "This day is a celebrated one for all of the people of the region. We have to overcome individual differences and defend our territories together from our shared enemy. We are born in one country, our blood is as one, and it is time to rid ourselves of hatred and be joyous together." The successful reconciliation in Kobane follows a major achievement for the Hasaki Reconciliation Committee, which on 13th of March announced a resolution of a 5-year-long dispute between two Kurdish and Arab tribes dating to a traffic accident. Bread prices are increasing in the Kurdistan region of Iraq as part of a regional economic crisis partially driven by the Ukraine-Russian conflict, but also linked to a long-standing corruption and financial mismanagement. Across the region, bread is now being sold at 6 pieces per 1,000 Iraqi dinars, or around 50 cents, a price which used to buy 8 pieces of bread. But in some remote towns, the situation is even more serious, with 1,000 dinars, equivalent to a sizable portion of a day's wages for unskilled workers, fetching only 4 pieces of bread to the local stable. This increased prices is very burdensome for the local residents, said Awari Ahmed, a local citizen. If the price of bread is not reduced, it will also affect the tourist industry in our towns. Local bakers said the prices were increasing due to a general raise in prices of basic products across the region, including metals, gas, and other necessities.